People hate the Chiefs? I didn't know that.
I think there was a lot of things going wrong. Can't just say that it was just, the O-line or anything like that. I think it was accumulative of everything, not really going our way today.
Let's be real, Taylor Swift just can't catch a break. Can she ever since she stepped into the spotlight as a teenage country singer? It seemed like there's always someone waiting to rain on her parade now, even as one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. She's still dealing with the same old drama, just on a bigger stage. The latest episode in the Let's Pick on Taylor saga happened at the Super Bowl, where some fans actually had the nerve to boo her while she was just trying to support her boyfriend, Travis KELCE. I mean, come on, people. She's literally just watching a football game. But here's where it gets good. Jason KELCE, Travis's brother, wasn't having any of it and stepped up to defend Taylor. It's kind of exhausting to watch, isn't it? No matter how hard Taylor tries to mind her own business, keep her head down, and just live her life, there's always someone ready to make her the villain. She spent years trying to navigate fame without stepping on toes, but apparently showing up to support your boyfriend at the biggest football game of the year is now a crime. And let me tell you, Travis is not happy about how his girlfriend is being treated, and honestly, who can blame him? But before we get into it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to never miss out on any new videos. It's free and helps us tremendously bring out new content for your enjoyment. Poor Taylor Swift got a pretty harsh welcome at the Caesars Superdome when her face popped up on the Jumbotron. I'm talking full-on booing from the crowd. Definitely not the kind of reception you'd expect for someone who was just there to support her boyfriend. Speaking of which, this game was a pretty big deal for Travis KELCE and the Chiefs, and not just because it's the Super Bowl. There's been some buzz that this might be Travis's last dance in the NFL, and unfortunately, if that's the case, it's not exactly the fairy tale ending he probably dreamed about. Let me paint you a picture of how things went down. The Eagles came out swinging. And man, did they swing hard. Birthday boy Cooperdine talk about having a memorable birthday. Right? Grabbed himself an interception and ran it all the way back for a touchdown, pushing the Eagles up to a pretty commanding 17-0 lead. At this point, Chiefs fans were probably starting to sweat a little, but wait, it gets worse. Just when you thought the Chiefs might pull off one of their famous comebacks, the Eagles' A.J. Brown decided to twist the knife a bit further after Patrick Mahomes threw his second interception of the game, which is pretty unusual for him. By the way, Brown capitalized on it and scored another touchdown by halftime. The Eagles were up 24-0 thanks to these plays, and an earlier touchdown from their quarterback Jalen Hurts, the Chiefs' dream of a historic 3. Pat was looking less like a dream and more like a nightmare at this point. You know, it's a rough day when even Patrick Mahomes, the guy who's known for miracle comebacks, is struggling to make things happen. The atmosphere in the stadium was electric. Well, if you were an Eagles fan, that is for Chiefs supporters and probably Taylor, too, it was more like watching a slow-motion car crash between Taylor getting booed, Travis potentially playing his last game, and the Chiefs getting absolutely dominated. This was turning into one of those Super Bowl stories people will be talking about for years, just maybe not for the reasons Kansas City fans would have hoped for. Okay, so here's where things get really interesting and maybe a bit eyebrow-raising. You know what happened just 2 days before this disaster? Taylor, Travis, and power couple Patrick and Brittany Mahomes decided to hit up this fancy French restaurant in New Orleans for dinner. Now I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal about dinner? Right? Well, here's the thing. This is pretty much unheard of in Super Bowl world. Players usually stick to a pretty strict routine. In the days leading up to the big game, they're typically holed up in their hotels focusing on game prep, not out sampling French cuisine, while they didn't technically break any rules. It's definitely raised some eyebrows, especially given how the game turned out. Talk about unfortunate timing. And speaking of unfortunate moments, let's talk about what went down in the stadium. The place was absolutely packed with Eagles fans. They practically took over the Superdome when the cameras found Taylor in the crowd. You know, as they always do. The booing was so loud, it was honestly kind of shocking. But here's where Taylor showed why she's Taylor Swift. Instead of getting upset, she just gave this perfect sassy side eye that basically said, "Really, this is what we're doing," classic Taylor response, if you ask. You've got to hand it to her even when she's getting booed by thousands of people in a packed stadium. She manages to handle it with that signature Swift sass. Although I bet that fancy French dinner is looking like less and less of a good idea as this game goes on, but that wasn't all you've got. To love how Serena Williams jumped in to defend Taylor, Talk about friendship goals the tennis legend took to X, formerly Twitter, for those keeping score with a sweet message of support I love. You at Taylor Swift 13 don't listen to those boo. And honestly, the whole situation is pretty ironic when you dig into Taylor's NFL history, and even her fans defended her. One person wrote on X booing Taylor Swift as if she's playing on the field, against your team. Even though she's just sitting there, looking pretty, is loser behavior. Another wrote as much as Taylor seemed to not care. Imagine going to a football game to support your boyfriend, and the entire stadium starts booing you. She's still a person with feelings, and this makes me so sad. No one deserves to be treated like this, get this? Taylor actually used to be an Eagles fan, no. Seriously, she even referenced it during one of her Era Tour shows in Philly last summer. There was this whole debate about a line in her song Gold Rush that mentions an Eagles' t-shirt, and Taylor had to set the record straight. She was like, guys, come on, I'm from Billy. Obviously, I'm talking about the team, not the band, though. She made sure to show some love to the band, too. Smooth move, Taylor. But here's where it gets funny. Since Travis KELCE entered the picture, girlfriend has done a complete 180 and gone full Chiefs kingdom. I mean, can you blame her? Love makes you do crazy things like switching NFL allegiances when Time magazine asked her about all the attention she was getting at NFL games and the backlash that came with it. Taylor gave the most Taylor response ever. She was basically like, look, I'm just here supporting my man. I don't care if I'm annoying some dads, Brads, and Chads. I mean, come on, that's pretty hilarious. And here's the cherry on top, Taylor's dad. Scott was actually a diehard Eagles fan himself. Well, at least until his daughter started dating a certain Chiefs tight end. Talk about family loyalty, right? I guess when your daughter's dating the opposition, you've got to make some tough choices about which jersey to wear on G game day. The whole situation is just chef's kiss, perfect example of how life can throw you some pretty unexpected curveballs. One minute, you're singing about Eagles t-shirts, the next you're getting booed by Eagles fans while supporting their rivals. You really can't make this stuff up, sources close to the situation say. Travis KELCE was absolutely fuming about the treatment his girlfriend received at the Super Bowl. Travis is usually pretty chill, but this really got under his skin, says an insider close to the Chiefs tight end. He's watched Taylor deal with hate her entire career, but seeing it happen in person at his workplace, essentially, that was a whole different story. Apparently, KELCE was particularly upset because Taylor has gone out of her way to be respectful of football culture and the NFL community. She's literally just been showing up to support him, keeping a low profile, and trying to blend in as much as a global superstar can. Another source mentioned, Travis feels like the booing was completely uncalled for, and honestly, just straight up. The situation hit even harder, considering how supportive Taylor has been of Travis's career. She's been rearranging her own massive tour schedule to make it to games, flying across the world to support him, and has never once tried to make the games about herself. Travis has been telling friends that he's sick of seeing Taylor become a punching bag for people who just want something to complain about, the insider revealed. And let's be real, this isn't just about football anymore, those close to Travis say he's especially protective of Taylor because he's seen firsthand how these constant attacks affect her. Even though she tries to brush them off with humor, he's made it clear to his circle that he won't stand for anyone disrespecting. Taylor says the source she's been nothing but genuine in her support for him and the team, and he thinks she deserves the same respect in return. I mean, can you blame the guy watching your girlfriend get booed by thousands of people when she's just there to support you? That's gotta sting. So what do you think? Comment meant down below, and let us know if you liked this video. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.